Hello everybody, it's Vertical Sandwich. Welcome back to book reviews. So, I don't know what I thought I was going to do last week, but this week, there's not a last week and a this week for me. I just recorded Doomsday Book, and then I'm recording this now, and then I'll be recording something else, in 15 minutes. That's how that works. So, this week we're doing the 2000 Hugo Award winner, Deepness in the Sky. This is the third winner by Vernor Vinge. Somebody actually corrected that in the comments of one of the books, and it is Vinge. So the way that this works is Fire Upon the Deep, which we've already reviewed. Fire Upon the Deep is like the baseline book for the series. Deepness in the Sky is a kind of prequel, and I think it's Children of the Sky is actually the sequel to Fire Upon the Deep. I'm not mistaken. I've read all three of those, and I liked Fire Upon the Deep I liked Fire Upon the Deep a lot. I thought it was amazing. I liked Children of the Sky a little less than that. And here's the thing about this. I hate this book. I hate it. I hate this book in a way that I will never hate another Hugo Award winner ever, probably. Yeah. So let's talk about that, because this is out of my session. This is the book I don't like. And I've kind of been putting this off for a while because I just didn't. So, yeah. After thousands of years of searching, humans stand on the verge of first contact with an alien race. Two human groups, the Kang Ho, a culture of free, innovative traders, and the Emergence, a ruthless society based on the technological enslavement of minds. The group that opens trades with the aliens will reap unimaginable riches. But first, both groups must wait at the aliens' very doorstep for their strange star to relight and for the alien planet to reawaken, as it does every 250 years. Amidst terrible treachery, the Kang Ho must fight for their freedom and for the lives of the unsuspecting innocents on the planet below, while the aliens themselves play a role unsuspected by the Kang Ho and Emergence alike. More than just a great science fiction adventure, A Deepness in the Sky is a universal drama of courage, self-discovery, and the redemptive power of love. Yeah, sure. Alright, let's read a bit. For more than 200 years, the clock mechanism beneath the frozen lake had faithfully advanced itself, exhausting the tension of spring coil after spring coil. The mechanism ticked reliably down through the last spring, and jammed on a fleck of air snow in the final trigger. There it might have hung until the coming of the new sun, if not for certain other unforeseen events. On the 7th day of the 209th year, a series of sharp earthquakes spread outward from the frozen sea, jolting loose the final trigger. A piston slid a froth of organic sludge into a tank of frozen air. Nothing happened for several minutes. Then a glow spread through the organics. Temperatures rose past the vapor points of oxygen and nitrogen and even carbon dioxide. The exhalation of a trillion blooding exotherms melted the ice above the little vehicle. The ascent to the surface had begun. Coming awake from the dark was not like waking from an ordinary sleep. 1,000 poets had written about the moment, and in recent eras, 10,000 academics had studied it. This was the second time that Shurkaner Underhill had experienced it, but the first time didn't really count, since that memory was mixed with the vague memories of boyhood, of clinging to his father's back in the pools of the Mount Royal Deepness. Coming awake from the dark was done in pieces. Vision, touch, hearing, memory, recognition, thought. Did they happen first one and then another and another? Or did they happen all at once, but with the parts not communicating? Where did mind begin from all the pieces? The questions would rattle around in Shurkaner's imagination for all of his life, the basis for his ultimate quest. But in those moments of fragmented consciousness, they coexisted with things that seemed much more important, bringing self together, remembering who he was, why he was here, and what he had done right now to survive. The instincts of a million years were in the driver's perch. Time passed, and thought coalesced, and Surecaner Underhill looked out his vessel's cracked window into the darkness. There was motion, rolling steam, no more like a veil of crystal swirling in the dim light they floated on. Someone was bumping his right shoulder, calling his name again and again. Surecaner pieced together memories. Yes, Sergeant, I'm awake. Awake. Excellent. Underby's voice was tinny. Are you injured? You know the drill. Surecaner dutifully wiggled his legs. They all hurt. That was a good start. Mid hands, forehands, eating hands. Not sure I can feel my right mid and fore. Maybe they're stuck together. Yeah, probably still frozen. How are Gil and Amber? I'm talking to them on the other cables. You're the last one to get his head together, but they've got bigger hunks of bodies still frozen. Give me the cable head. Underby passed him the sound conducting gear, and Surecaner talked directly to the other team members. The body can tolerate a lot of differential under these conditions, so they each could talk to just one other team member. Still, they needed safety lines in any case, so the cable was no extra inconvenience. So, the planet is inhabited by these spiders that hibernate for hundreds of years while the sun goes out. And then the sun turns back on and they wake up and they have these kind of, they have normal lives. They drive cars and stuff. And then when it's red time for the sun to go out, they go into these underground caverns and they go to sleep. But the story, at least about the spider's homeworld, is told from the point of view of somebody who has decided to become an explorer of the dark. So what he does is he's developed equipment that will allow you to live through the cold times when the sun's out. Like walk around on the surface in like spacesuits and stuff. And that stuff is all fantastic. Vernor Vinge is a master of creating interesting alien races, and this book is not an exception to that at all. However, here's my problem with this book. For some reason, Vernor Vinge decided to put a character in here that is being repeatedly subjected to kind of these horrible predatory sexual violations and then having their mind erased so they can experience it all over again. And that character is like important to the story. And it's gross. It's just gross. It's just nonsensically awful. And the thing about it is, there are really great ways that you can make a bad guy, but this isn't one of them. Like, what you don't have to do is have, and this is exactly what happens, by the way. I'm going to tell you this. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine. And maybe this is a thing that doesn't bother you, but there's this character. She's a young girl. She is like the head of the Emergence, who is clearly a bad guy. The story makes it clear he's a bad guy. She is like his girlfriend. And every once in a while she gets curious, and she breaks into this like restricted area, and she finds a video of him raping her mother while he's killing her, and then he erases her memory so it could all happen all over again. And you know why that's in the book? No, neither do I. I don't know why I have to like feel about a character that has to go. It's unnecessary. It's horrifically unnecessary. Like, and I get that there's a range of human experience, and a writer shouldn't feel restricted to like not. But like for some reason in the series in general, because when you read Children of the Sky, he really beats the crap out of the main character, this girl, and you just think she's just gonna get like really take it, but I mean she just gets the crap beat out of her like the whole book, just gets crapped out and the crap beat out of her, and you just go like, man, this seems unnecessarily mean. But this book, just the line. There is a line, and this book just walks right over it and is just like, look, I found a new and inventive way to disgust you. And here's the thing, is this is not a necessary thing. It's it's not that it's necessarily gross. It's gross. It's gross, right? That she has to see her own mother's rape and murder and then be this guy's boyfriend and then realize that she's been the boyfriend, like, over and over and over. Like, that's really disturbing. But it's not that. It's that the entire point of this book is that these guys are bad guys, right? Like, there are all these kinds of ways that you learn that these guys are bad guys, and none of them involve that. It's just like a thing that happens in the middle of the book, and you just go like, why would you do that to any character? I mean, like, I like that particular character, but why would you do it to any character? And then I have another problem with this. And this is my problem, and I think we've talked about this before, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it seems to be a thing with science fiction books. I don't like when someone's response to we need to make a character seem like a bad guy is to just like sexual violence. It's lazy. It's so lazy. It's so super lazy. Like you can make great bad guys without having them just be random rapists for no reason. Like in a way that doesn't serve your plot whatsoever. Because what I told you doesn't serve the plot of this book at all. It's just a thing that happens in the middle where you just go like, what? Why? Everything else, like the spider stuff in this book is amazing. But the stuff with like, meh. Really garbage. Just garbage. Just absolutely like, just unnecessary trash. Just trash. And the rest of the book is like, nah, it's not redeemable at all. Like, it's just not worth just going through that. It's just not. There's just nothing. There's just, like, the book could have been a passable book. If that wasn't in here, I mean, I wouldn't be talking about how much I love this book. I'd be talking about how Vernor Vinge did interesting aliens very interesting because that's what he's good at, and how that was neat. But that the human plot lines were kind of paper thin and I didn't care. That's how I would feel about the book if this ridiculousness hadn't been put in the middle of it for no ridiculous reason. But it was. So what I'm telling you is, I don't like the fact that this book won a Hugo Award. I don't like the fact that this book is a prequel to a book that I loved. Like, I can't say I don't like the fact that this book exists, because every book can exist. Like, that's not an issue. Like books that personally offend me can't exist. I want writers to write. Like, I want readers to read. But I hated this. I hated that. I hated that as a choice. I hated that as a choice, and it was a drastic enough choice to ruin everything else for me. And it's one of the things that I talk about when I talk to people about kind of why, when you just put, like, sometimes sexual violence is appropriate in a story. I thought it works really well. I thought it worked really well in Side Team. I thought it worked amazingly well in Side Team. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it just doesn't belong in the story you're telling. And this is one of those stories where you just go like, you're reading and you're fine, and then that happens, and you go, why did that happen? And then you kind of shake it off and go on with the story. And you just go like, okay, that was fine, but why? Why? And I don't like that. I don't like being so blindsided by something kind of so, like, obviously meant to disturb me in a story that isn't like that. Like, it's not like that. The spiders aren't doing things that are so crazy spidery that you, like, the spiders are all sympathetic and you really get to like them. And then and you're like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I understand that you could have a bad guy do that. You do that stuff. But, I liked the stories about the spiders in the book. I mean, the character stuff was, again, it was alright, it was okay. But, why? Like, it was just gross. It was just gross. No, I didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend this book to anybody. I think it makes bad choices. Like, by the way, it makes bad choices, and the author who made these bad choices is an author who we know knows better. The guy who wrote Rainbow's End and Fire Upon the Deep wrote this. And those books are excellent. And this book is not. This book is a pile of flaming trash. And I didn't like it. So that's my bad book review. This has been, by the way, this is one of the few books, like, I rant about this book to people who have never read a sci-fi book in their life about how just absolutely out of character and just disturbing and weird it was. And like, when I tell them the thing out of context, they're like, yeah, that's super gross and disturbing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So, yeah. Vernor Vinge, I know you're out there. You're probably not watching this video, but if you are, gross, dude. Seriously gross. You can do better. I mean, you have. Your entire career, you've done better than this. So that's how I feel about that, and I'm glad I got that off my chest. Because again, I'm not going to talk to you about every book that has like sexual violence in it. I'm not going to be like, sexual violence disqualifies books as being blah 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 blah. No. But sometimes there just doesn't need to be that. And if there doesn't need to be that, and suddenly it's there, and you're just like, what just happened? Like, that's a weird thing. That's a weird thing. And it happens a good amount in sci-fi. Like, a friend of mine is really into horror novels, and I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, that's not a big thing in horror novels. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, the way you describe it, it happens a lot in sci-fi. And I'm like, it does. It does. And she's like, yeah, that's strange that it would be a problem in sci-fi and not horror novels. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But I can make like a pile of books and be like, unnecessary sexual assault in these books. I can. I mean, maybe someday I will. Anyway, this is one of them. I didn't like it. Don't read it. Take a pass. Just read Fire Upon the Deep and call it a day. And then Rainbow's End. Because they're masterpieces. But this is not. They're probably not masterpieces. They're just really, really good. They are really, really good. This, man. Maybe I'll write a sequel to Rainbow's End. That would be nice. Alright, next week, I think I know what we're doing. I'll see you guys for that. Bye, everybody.